Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the T.O.A podcast. As always, I am your host, Andremo, and I'm joined here today by Ek. Ek, how you doing?
Yep, it's my week.
Yeah, it is your week to suffer listening to me talk. Although maybe you'll be doing some talking too. Who knows?
Occasionally I do some of that.
That's just it's a thing. Okay, it's a system. It's one second. Gotta move the table a little bit closer. There we go. I don't feel like leaning into the mic now. The mic's leaning into me. Us. Everyone. I will say this though, I think the audios when we've done it here have actually been pretty decent, at least catching the volume wise, at least. But today, we'll start things off. We'll basically talk about your Bionicle dimming. Now,
I had a brief dim age. I wouldn't say it's a dark age, but it was definitely a dim age.
yes, it was very very sad. The most notable reason for that being, well, if you look from an outsider's perspective, the reason why you could say it's a dimming age because you got rid of a bunch of instructions, and as for collectors, such as we are now,
That is something that I quite regret to this day because I've spent like almost, probably $40 in getting back all these instructions.
if not more.
Well, on average, like $1 or $2 each, and I didn't really have a whole lot. I even kind of actually regret getting rid of some of the spares I have because turns out they would have been useful for bricklink selling purposes.
Yeah, you get an extra couple bucks out of sets you sold. So, do you have all the instructions that you
I
essentially got rid of?
think yes, I
The
do
redact was the
have
last,
all.
right?
Yeah, redact was the last instruction that I re-got after getting rid of it.
Re-got redac?
Yeah, I re-got redact. And there's still a handful of instructions to some canister sets that I'm missing, but I never had those instructions in the first place,
Well,
so they don't really count.
Well, both of us are still basically trying to collect, get
Unless
all the
there's some of the
instructions.
smaller sets.
But
most of them,
those are the posters. So I don't think you got rid of any of those, except maybe like the extra Tackus. I know you don't have. You got rid of that one.
Yeah, I don't have
because
a
I didn't get
Tackus.
that one off you.
I don't have a Tackus yet.
Do you have your second Garen's instructions?
I don't think so.
That's a bummer.
I do have 2 Kirop instructions,
Do you
oddly
have
enough.
your ex? No, that. Yeah, that I think showed up later. But do you have your sec? No, you don't also have your extra Garen's box either. Like despite owning to that set brand new.
I don't believe I did. That was probably I don't really remember what happened to it.
I mean, that's one of the few cases where we actually had a duplicate of a Bionicle set, to be honest, back in the day.
I was very happy to be able to get a Onu Matoran, so I bought 2 of them.
Well, the other one before that was Tahuti. You didn't even buy him in stores. You got him for Christmas like a year later.
Yes,
2
but
years
that
later?
was
So you didn't even get a chance
just in the I still hadn't fully gone over to the Onua Cave Dark Side.
to collecting all the black Bionicles.
Yes, collecting of the black.
Yes, but
By the time I was fully into it, Tahuti had been out of stock and out of stores.
yeah, I was lucky that I ended up getting Akmu when I did, which I have a very vivid memory of that, but we're not going to go into that at the moment. Maybe we did was on day, who knows? But so with your Bionicle dimming, when do you think that started for you?
Probably after, definitely after I'd moved out. And it was for sure after I'd stopped visiting, pretty much every weekend. Because I remember a lot of those weekends, my Bionicles stayed at home.
Yep.
And I had left out.
We had them hang on the ceiling in cover. We literally had our Makuta hang on the ceiling while you were moved out.
Those rafters in the basement, they were awesome.
Our poor sister's friends who had to come over to see that because it would just be
I'm pretty sure our
everywhere.
parents weren't fond of it either.
No, they weren't. I mean, we
were definitely teenagers and
we had grown out of having toys spun around everywhere. Let's just say that we were definitely older for that than we needed to.
Let's just say Lego's still all over my basement. But
Yeah,
at least it's tactful now.
Yes, it's a lot more tactful. It looks like an adult collector rather than just a bunch of boys with Bionicle parts.
Anyways, yeah, it was after I moved out, and definitely after I had, because when I first moved out, I moved in with Mithra. We were living together for a year and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
And then when we went our separate ways, I was living on my own, and that's definitely where it began to slide down a little bit.
Well, also, at that point, Bionicle stopped.
I was only really living in a single room. I was just renting a single room in a basement, so I didn't really have a lot of storage space. So the Bionicles were kind of just pushed us
You also probably didn't have as much income.
I don't think
or,
no, but
I mean, at that point, Bionicle wasn't even in stores anymore. Like, it had just
Oh, no.
ended around that.
well, I moved out in 2010,
So you moved out when Bionicle ended.
pretty much.
And to be honest, though, I feel like your dimming had some signs, like, as early as, like, 2008. Because I remember in 2008, like, with the Mystico, you were basically already kind of on the verge of losing interest. And 2009...
Even with the
and
Baraki and the Anika, it's kind of like
you're on and
out.
off. And even with the Glatorians did bring you back into liking the sets, I think.
No, like, well, when the Glatorians first came out, I was pretty much like, oh, it's a soft reboot. I'm kind of done with Bionicle. Then I got the Scrawl, and I'm like, dang, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, and despite Lego canceling Bionicle the year next.
Yeah, when you definitely actually just look at what my collection was, it's very early years heavy, and like 04, 05, 06, it definitely dips down, and in the later years, I wasn't getting much outside of the obligatory black set.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's... I mean, like, also, like, when we started basically getting loose Bionicle stuff in a bunch of pieces, I kept it alive enough after you moved down. Actually,
It certainly kept the mocking from
it
completely
rejuvenated
dying out.
up, I think, a little bit. Because I would say you were dipping down by the time Glatorians came around. Like, you almost exited out, and then you kind of got back into it. But
I didn't buy the Scrawl. I got the Scrawl for my birthday.
you did buy the Stronius and
Yes. Attackus.
and the Stars Scrawl.
But that was after getting that Scrawl, who I
It's
figured was
hard
like,
to say.
he's one of my favorite Bionicles, to be honest.
It's honestly hard to say if you even would have bought those other ones, like if you weren't gifted the scroll. And if
Probably
your interest,
not. Probably not.
I give it a 50-50. But yeah, no, like we were seeing each other on like a pretty weekly basis, but like I would say you could have had much earlier Bionicle dimming, or even a Dark Age if you
Let's
didn't
just
get
say
that scroll.
Matanui's eyes were never fully shining on me since like 2004.
Even just you could tell that you had a dimming just because of a certain you have found stuff about the village that you passed up on that you wouldn't pass up on anymore.
I can distinctly remember at least 3 distinct circumstances. I once passed up on, I believe it was a Pohatu Nuva in a canister. I've passed up on a Levac in a canister. And I've passed up on a good Sidorak hunk.
Now, these aren't even technically the worst things, because you've gone a sealed Mataliwa and a sealed Stars Gresh in thrift stores. And what did you do with those?
I sold them to Zacta.
Indeed.
I should have sold them on Bricklink. Should have kept them and sold them on Bricklink. Could have gotten a lot more money.
Sorry, Zacta.
At the time, I didn't even have a Stars Gresh. I still don't have his canister.
Nor do I.
I really should have kept. That was the only. Well, I guess I didn't have the Praka guy at the time either.
Yeah, but sorry, Zacta. I mean, in fairness though, if he didn't ever give him the Zacta, that means he would not have spent as much money on other related stuff.
Zacta went off on a bit of a quest to get some more sealed, Lee-colored, green-colored Bionicles.
Yes, I might have to talk to him about that perhaps one of these days. Perhaps. But, I'll definitely say that I was definitely thinking that you were going to jump ship with Bionicle, and despite the fact that you got most secondhand Bionicle stuff later, which you were kind of spearheading the mocking
That's
Bionicles.
kind of helped keep. Well, it certainly made mocking a thing, because otherwise, we didn't take apart our sets. We just kept them as They were.
I mean, we even started breaking sets around that time. For
One or
mocking.
two, but it's mostly because we had extra parts to go along with it. Mocking was more interesting than keeping the sets
It's like
built.
Mario Matoro. I mean, nowadays I have much more appreciation for Mario Matoro, but back in the day I thought he was ugly, and I wasn't mind breaking him. Same with like Mario Howley I broke. I think Mystic Toad Trucker, Mystica Tahu and Mystica Galley, I broke those ones. Stole parts from others. Those took a while to actually get back together because a lot of them have parts that I don't have much duplicates, and they're usually decent use on mocks I like. But like I said, this is like when you definitely was quite a long process for you to get your instructions back, because you kind of started getting those back like 3 years ago.
Well, I never really went hardcore, full, I'm just going to buy them all right now. No, it's kind of, oh, this store's got this one, this store's got that one. I think at some point you were like, searched out Redac, maybe?
Well, he was the one that kept eluding us, I think.
Yeah, he's
for whatever reason.
Not very many sellers.
Stronius was one of the last, but he was also randomly, like, a lot of some sellers were selling Stronius instructions for a decent amount. for whatever reason. Strawny just
Well,
had
it just seems like there wasn't a lot of people selling Bionicle instructions. Period. They're not expensive or anything.
Now, if people are wondering, he didn't get rid of all his instructions, not even all the canisters, so just a good majority.
Just the ones that I didn't have as much attachment to. Like, I kept all my T.O.A Mata, all the T.O.A Nuva, I think all the Borak.
And maybe some, like, Mari Nupru you might have kept. No, not even that one, okay.
Mari Nupru was one of the harder ones to actually reacquire.
Yeah, I feel that. But, it goes like that sometimes, and I'd recently talked with How One about his Bionicle Dark Ages, which more likely than not is going to come out after this one. So I don't know. I guess stay tuned.
Tune in next week or the week after,
or whenever I feel
week.
like it. I don't know. It might be the week after this one, or it might be a month later. Who knows?
It depends if we skip a recording session.
Or I just decide to start having more of a backlog of it or something like that. But it is interesting because like both you guys is kind of like once you're not around, other Bionicle fans seem to be very much the killer, and I'm really wondering if like Bionicle fandom like really only kind of you only kind of stay in it if you have other people to talk about. Like the moment like it's not something you can do by yourself. You kind of need other people to latch on to.
You need a friend.
Bionicle, keeping friends together since 2001.
And while I no longer live with Purple Wolf,
that's on Vermel to you, scumbag.
On Vermel, Purple Wolf.
Purple Wolf is an older title I used to go by. On Vermel is the current one. Thank you very much. Ek. Or should I call you Elephant Knight?
Either one is appropriate.
But
I no longer live with the little purple being.
I am wearing purple right now.
But we still live in the same town. We still see each other often enough. And I see Zacta all the time because I work with him.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I'll see at least guaranteed once every 2 weeks. Like 100% guaranteed. While I also like drop by usually other stuff. Something like either I found rum at my place that was technically yours, or needed to trade some
Oddly
parts.
enough, he didn't drink it.
I was tempted, except I didn't know.
I swear it was more full.
If it was Zactaz, then I couldn't drink it. But if it was yours, you would never know. So I had to figure out whose it was. But Zactaz wasn't around, so I asked you, obviously. And then I was like, well, I can't drink it. Although if I drank it, I don't think you would have been too broken up. You have some more. Especially with like that little left, you would have been like, yeah. It's not a cheese. It's not a cheese stick. Let's just say that. We'll just say that it's not a cheese stick.
The cheese stick is sometimes it's fine. Other times when you're really expecting that cheese stick, and then it's gone.
Yeah. But bringing this all back to Bionicle dimming, it's like we can basically even see other like signs that you had of like even when you of like breaking sets, because like before you even had like much sets to mock with, you had basically a Makuta, and that was it. You broke a set pretty much right then and there, which was Morak, the Hydruka. So I would say that was already signs that your collecting wasn't a priority for Bionicle.
It was a little more interesting to, wow, I've got some parts. I could actually build something. What did I build? I built a rock shield.
A rock shield shadow, though.
But then again, you've got a spare Makuta.
By the way, that rock shield is still built, by the way. Upgraded and changed, but he's still there.
Yep, I call it Ed.
Ed. Yep. We have called several things Ed.
Like a Bayrag.
A Bull Knight. Probably Ed's like the go-to like idiot like name.
Dumb idiot guy. Yeah, Ed. We can blame the Lion King on that. Ed.
Right. Okay, I was like, did the Lion King actually have Ed, or was that just the Lego King? That's a whole story for another day, by the way. I might actually have to have a.
That'd be, I think, a one for How One.
Yes, that's a whole conversation that's on its own, because that would be a spiral into Lego films that. Quote unquote films they've done. Like I said, that's a topic for another day.
It's more like call it fun with a video camera.
And some flour a lot of times. Water, flour. The props were unique. I'll grant them that. But oh dear. I mean, luckily enough for you, your Bionicle dimming wasn't too bad.
It didn't go fully dark.
Although I would say that it never got fully dark, and you were able to snap out of it soon enough that you didn't make any drastic mistakes.
Living with On Vermel definitely kept it alive and thriving.
I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason why you have so many Karata. is me. Like, your Bond collection is way more ahead than it probably ever would have been if I wasn't there, basically, as a competition.
100%, yes.
Because, like, also, you had your own dress, but, brotherly competition also added to that. You know
a
what?
lot.
I mean, I'm not sure if you ever thought you were actually going to beat me to all of it, but you at least wanted not to be that far behind, I'm assuming.
I didn't. I wanted to stay far enough on the racetrack that I could still see him, but I didn't want to get past.
I mean, you're really not too far away now, for sets-wise.
Well, I'm missing pretty much, one piece to the new Jaga.
Because I would say you have all the canister sets, you have all the
canister, all the small. I'm missing a few Titans. Most of them are large and vehicle related.
Scopio, Thornatus, Spigot, Jetrax, part of a new Jaga.
Well, one piece to a new Jaga, and the other half of the Muaka Kani Ra.
Only one piece now?
Yeah, I just need another purple Bakari.
Yeah, jeez, I wish I could help you with that, but my 20 or so are all preoccupied.
I own 5.
I don't own 20, or maybe I do.
No, you only
Hold on. I got 4 Anui Jagas, rack, 2 Anipus, 3 of them self-mocks, there's V, my keys, my car, I have at least 1 other flown about, I have a Matorn, I got 15.
Did you count Onipu?
Yes, I got 2 Tongas. So I have at least 15 purple Pocari, so I'm not far off from my 20, I'm just saying.
It's 3 times what I have. I have 5, because I have, right now, just 1 on a Nui Jaga, because it's missing 1.
Jeez, I wish I could help you out with that second purple Nui Jaga.
2 on Nipus. I've got a guy who's known as Butthead. And an Andromel
that's a
Mock.
funny thing to say because me and Zach had just talked about Lupins last week. So,
Let's just say there's a guy whose head's really low, even though it's not, it's still a face.
It's more of a belly. It's more of a belly. It's more of a like a beer belly head than anything.
Yeah, beer belly head doesn't
But it was
roll off
close
the
enough to his
tongue.
butt because we would call him Butthead. Butthead. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
we probably watched Back to the Future recently
Well,
enough.
you watched Back to the Future probably recently enough. I mean, I bet you probably got him on DVD recently-ish.
No, I definitely didn't.
Oh yeah, because I got him on DVD for I think Christmas or birthday from Mithra, and then it opened up a whole.
Butthead's a pretty old mod. He dates back from the days
The
probably
first big batch of parts.
when I don't think I was still living at home.
No, you definitely moved out, but it was.
But most of my Bionicle collection was still at home.
Yeah, because it just kind of stayed there. Well, even HAL 1, you see,
I also didn't have a lot of
apparently
storage
Bionicle
space
collections are the last things to leave because HAL 1, one reason why we were able to get a good chunk of his collection often is because it was too much work for him to bring it down to the States where he lives now. So it's maybe I'll just sell it to these guys. And being away from it, you detach from it.
Andromel and I split his Muaka Kani Ra.
As well as his
He was
Rama.
able to complete his half, or I haven't.
Well, I got lucky that I found just the Muaka just by some vendor was selling just that one.
Minus Knohi.
It was short one infected HAL. However, because we actually split the HALs and the Hunas when we got ours, it worked out well, more or less. I mean, I had one on a mock for a while, so it took me a while to finally get a replacement.
Okay, so I'm missing 1 mask less, because I still have that black Huna.
Yes, you still.
I have a black
one
Huna.
mask less. Yes, and
I have a touch over half of that set.
I mean, let's be honest. We know you have more parts. We know. Well, red claws you don't have. There's some There's some black
I have at
pins.
least one red claw.
There are some black pins to that I know you have.
I do have 1 red claw. Some of the dark
Right.
gray Technic beams is
I'm
pretty
sure you
iffy.
probably have.
It's pretty iffy.
Yeah.
Some of the generic Technic stuff, yes. I mean, that's mostly what the set is.
It's generic Technic stuff.
I
with
definitely
a gear.
do not have the tread.
Yes. Yeah, those are.
Because I only own 2 of those treads. One's on the Muaka, and one I had to order because one set was missing one. Well, I guess I have 2 from that Arctic set as well.
Right. Yes. Very, very interesting. But your bomb collection is not too far from completion. Just some higher profile sets that you kind of need
It's
to.
under 10 sets, but they're big, high profile.
I mean,
ones.
Scorpio's 200. Jetrax is upwards of 150-ish.
We're not counting the 2 Jetraxes.
I'm only saying the one.
We're only saying it's one because it's
Okay,
the same set.
See, okay, I want to put this on the record. I'm not counting the yellow Jetrax as completion because it's not a unique model. All it is a different color variant of a current set, and that
Don't
was
they
a
have
special.
the same number too?
I think that might have a same number with the -1 sort of thing.
So yes, it has the same.
I think
number.
I could be wrong. I might have a different number. The point is, it's not different enough. Especially because you could say the Borak are the same, but this is it's kind of that one exception where
Well, the Borak actually have different hand molds.
true, like this is kind of the one exception where I'm like, yes, it's a set. Yes, it's more of a set than any like than Voprak would be or
Some of the
Ultimate
other
Doom or
combo
all those
models.
combos, but it's still not enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have the instructions to it. I don't have the instructions to the other one, but I have the yellow
I think
instructions.
I saw someone on Bricklink who was selling the yellow jet tracks with the normal instructions.
Yes, I did see. I think that's like what 200 something. I'm actually
Clearly,
tempted,
it's exactly what you
I
need.
am tempted to getting that because I still want the yellow jet tracks, but I don't. It's not. I don't count it as my official collection, but it is a bonus piece. It's a bonus collection essentially.
He's got level 1 completed. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but
With some bonus
so
levels.
it's like okay, so like I was beat you there, but I'm like when you look at other stuff, like you have all the Krana now. You have all the big.
It took me way longer than I actually realized to get all the Taraga masks because I realized I was missing the Tan Rao.
That was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing because I swear I had them all. This is
What?
like a couple years missing it. I was going through it the other day and I'm
Now,
like,
because you probably thought you got it
where
from
is
HAL
it?
1, but Zacta, I think, ended up getting the one from HAL 1, obviously. So, but like you have all the. You pretty much have all the standard mask collection almost. You basically don't have some like the
I have the
European
standards
misprints and
normal
some
ones.
silver Nuva ones, and that's kind of about it. That you need basically to.
I've got all
catch
the
mine.
misprint Rurus and half of the Matatus.
You could say you also don't have the copper Koma. Like you have a few high profile ones, but like ones that aren't like 100% needed for a collection. Like those are basically level 3 collectors. I don't know what level 2 or what the difference of 1 or 2 is. That's its own little beast.
We're just making up numbers on the fly.
27. That's a number. I made
Or
that
was
one
it
up.
26?
See, I made up 27. I like to trademark that anytime someone's used that number. Thank you very much. And then like Karada, you have probably way more than any of us ever thought you were going to have. Don't get me wrong, I never thought I'd have only be short 19. But because you kind of have, the most way we get a Karada is like I'd order a bunch, and then the ones that I didn't need, Ek would go through. And then basically ones that neither of us needed, either Zacta might end up getting or mostly get sold on Bricklink.
Yeah, I would just resell them and hey, just get your money back.
I'm still tempted in doing that again because right now there's another supply on Bricklink. So at some point,
There's like some guy in Russia who seems to have an endless supply.
hey, if I want to get on my crowd, he's my man. So like again,
a Russian man, but still
and see
a
if
man.
I really want to sell all the crowd quick. I mean, Bricklink is honestly you get your money's back pretty quickly. They seem to sell. The moment someone on Bricklink's selling a lot of Krata,
I've
people
still got
buy
a
it.
few left on it.
Well, they stage 4s.
Someone go buy them.
Buy the Krata, brand new out of box. Buy the Krata. They aren't really brand new anymore, but
They've just been sitting in Ziploc
But,
bag,
like,
and I'm
honestly-
still selling them
yeah.
as new.
I would say the batch of like collectibles that I had the biggest lead is actually discs. Because spinners, you have pretty much all of them. Because I think just by
Yeah, I might be missing one or two.
there's not that many.
They're not
Krata,
hard.
you and me have the same masks. I only have a few more Krata. I
Yeah.
have noticeably more Krata, but it's not as big as it used to. But like the discs, they shouldn't be as different between us. But like you only have like
I
two
have
great
all
discs,
the ONU
maybe?
discs. Yeah,
Or do you have just the
two.
one? Do you have the
believe
blue?
I have two.
Did you get like the blue one maybe? The Gametru great
I
disc.
think I have Gametru.
But like, I mean, I don't even have all the discs. I'm still missing 2 Kometru discs, which are like bloody
And obviously that
expensive.
super rare Tametru one.
Yeah, I don't count that. See, this is where I come to collecting, where it's like items where it's like the general schmuck can't acquire it, is not basically in my collection. Because there's yellow Huna, there's white Hunas out there, but
And yellow Rurus.
those are like
I would
actual,
kill
those
for
are
a yellow
actual
Ruru.
prototype parts. So I'm like, that doesn't count as an actual collection. That's bonus. That's like
Same
nightmare
goes
level.
for that one Evoki that's made out of platinum.
Yeah, well, give me some like good supplies of platinum. I'll mold them in Evoki and I can make my own.
Or maybe do you feel up for a heist?
No, we know where I'm sure we could figure out where he lives if we tried. So he's probably moved a few times, changed his name, gone to a new identity, has a new life, new wife. Crazy.
It says it's gone through 3 different owners, but I think it's just the same guy.
the same guy is just selling it to himself to up the value of it. That'd be a brilliant way to like up the value of like a rare item that's not selling. Make it fake, like basically fake some really high transactions between like people and then basically like, all right, now if the general public's gonna think that this thing's now worth a whole lot, I bet someone's done that with a painting. I bet someone out there basically couldn't get a painting to sell.
Faked the value.
So he basically had a friend, like a quote unquote friend, basically buy it for like a substantial amount where no money was probably translated. But it says like, yeah, I sold this for $25,000, and then all of a sudden like wind's going around like, yeah, this painting's getting sold for $25,000, and boom, cash. I bet people have used that tactic.
I'd be surprised if no one did.
Let's say if I thought of it, you guarantee you people thought of it and done it. Because I'm not that sneaky and conniving at all.
People were probably doing this like back in the medieval ages.
Yeah, no, this pouch was sold to me for 25 shillings.
I'm talking just paintings. They probably did lots of paintings.
This painting was sold to me for 25. I bought this painting for 25 shillings from a man in the city. But for you, I'll give you the deal of 24 shillings. Or went to a king and be like, yeah, this is the thing I paid an arm and a leg for. Basically, boast that you have it, but don't try selling it, but wait for someone to try and buy it off you. That's the key. And we talked about painting scams. Okay. Well.
Do you feel like a scam for another painting?
Ooh, if it's a painting of me, like my T.O.A version of me, that'd be amazing.
That'd be the only one that he'd want to buy.
Or just paintings of me. I'd have pictures of me across my house. I'd be okay with that. I may or may not be a slight narcissist. Possibly. I mean, I do. This is the.
He may consider just buying a 3D, print a picture of a purple Makarov and frame it.
Or
he'd want that.
Or get a 3D scan of my head and have a bust of myself in my house.
That would be creepy.
But kind of cool. Would that not be kind of cool?
No, that'd be creepy.
That'd be amazing.
I wouldn't want you staring at me every day.
That would actually probably be creepy. Now that
Mind you, I have helmets I can cover your head up in.
Scotty P lives again.
No, not really. He's dead. He's not living. He's dead.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Was he ever living before though? He made me dead inside, so he must have been dead inside.
Scouty P, may he rest in pieces.
But yeah, no, you don't have much more to go with your bomb collection, and that's
handful of sets.
Let's be honest,
it'll take a bit of money to get them.
Probably going to be like the last one, unless you could. Actually, I can see like Piranha's V7 being the last, because I can see Scorpio. You find a decent enough deal. They're like, I'll jump on this now. Basically, go big and then work your way down. Sometimes I'm not
the ones that I'm missing. Well, obviously, I want to complete my Rahi.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I want to complete the most, and after that.
Basically,
I'd say I probably want the Jetrax next, then that would just leave the Glatorian.
Scorpio, Thornatus, and Piranhas. Yeah, those are. Piranha's V7's kind of the boringest of the lot. It's just kind of there.
But at least it's the cheapest.
True, and I mean, I got mine sealed for like $60. 60.
Yeah, I think
80.
I could get one for like 75.
Honestly, it's not a. The Spigot's a fine set. It's just kind of. It's a chariot. It's not a big, cool vehicle.
Well, it's
not a
tank. Chariot drivers.
Yes.
Except there's chariot and chariot driver.
He better not anger the the Israelites or the chosen, God's chosen people, because I know the sea will be part. He'll go after them.
But there might still be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
There will be. I mean, he does live in a desert. Egypt's in a desert, so I'm seeing the connections here, buddy. That bear guy better not follow Pharaoh's the Pharaoh's skirts. We would have a Pharaoh. Oh dear. Well, this podcast has gone in weird directions. We kind of knew that was going to happen, though. Let's be honest. Your dim ages didn't have that much substance to it. It was a dim age. What can we really say? There wasn't. It's not like this grand story of betrayal and regret. It was just more so. I got some rid of instructions. The collector in me kind of annoyed at this. Is pretty much what it comes down to.
And like my large Titan boxes, thankfully didn't.
In fact,
because they were kept I did a box culling. I got rid of a bunch of Lego boxes, but my Bionicle boxes weren't with them. Therefore, they escaped the culling. Otherwise, it may have been.
I've never officially culled Bionicle boxes, but I did at one point get rid of some of the Mari cardboard inner parts.
And that stuff's hard to come by.
Mostly just because I'd gone rid of the frame parts to Zacta, so I had no use for those. And at that point, my collector in me hadn't quite gone full hardcore yet. And then about like a few months later, I started going hardcore into collecting and
missed it by that much.
Yeah, so yeah, the Mari's are fun. But this has been a very all over the place podcast. If anyone liked this, congratulations, thumbs up. Maybe consider subscribing.
If anyone didn't like this, you probably didn't listen to it.
If you didn't like this, please tell me. I want to See your thoughts. Put comments. Make algorithms.
Why
Dislike.
didn't you like it?
Yes, tell me to my face why you didn't like it, you scumbag, you wimp, you wuss. Say it in person.
We might even send you
Wait.
one of those busts.
Hold on, Zach, to listen to these podcasts. He could actually tell me in person why he didn't like this. I might have a conversation, but this was kind of fun. That's kind of nice, actually, just having one with no direction whatsoever. Despite me every now and then just out of the blue going, and welcome back to the dimming. It was kind of fun. It was kind of nice.
Vermel here likes to ramble, so this was
My
probably a
brain's
good
very good at
podcast
rambling,
for
but it's
him.
very good at just going back to. This is basically what my podcast, very much in the beginning, was kind of intended for, was just rambling.
Well, maybe get a topic to start, and we'll just see where it goes.
The problem is, though, a lot of them would probably go the same place. I'd probably end up talking about like a certain, let's say, cancer collecting like 20 times on the podcast. I mean, most people wouldn't remember what I talked, so it's fine. But this has been the T.O.A. podcast. I have been your host, Vermel, and we are retiring from the night.